Hello and welcome to the NS9 postgame show powered by Permane Brothers. I'm Cody. That's Ryan. Has anybody seen the Pirates offense? Does it exist? Are they alive? Do they have a pulse? Ryan, what? They got 3 or 4 hits today?
4 hits, Cody. No, they're on a milk carton. They are as lifeless as you can get. Cody, this is it's the same script every game. There's no hitting. The pitcher gives up 1 or 2 runs. The game's pretty much over. Afternoons with Cody and Ryan have been ruined. This is just, it's the same script every game. We are Bill Murray in Groundhog's Day, and I'm about to lose it. I'm close to losing it like Bill did. Bill thought he was a god in that movie. I think this team is just cursed.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find an alarm clock to smash on the ground or something. I don't know. What do you change up here? But I guess before we get too far into it, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all of your sports wagering info. In between games, head on over to the BetOnline casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here, Ryan. And it really didn't get started. I mean, the Cardinals showed up to play, right? But the Pirates, on the other hand, just lifeless.
Yeah, 5-0 swept. 7 in a row, 7 losses in a row, 12-26. I mean, they're 14 games under, and it's May 7th. This is it. And everybody's saying, everybody's assuming that Shelton is gone. I guess I'm not. I'm 100% in agreement that he should be gone. But if they didn't do it last week, they didn't do it last year. I don't all of a sudden know why they're suddenly going to do it tomorrow or tonight. Or it's just, this is what the Pirates do. There's no accountability. We'll just keep going as is. And I don't know. I don't know.
Ryan, you and I are in the same camp. Like, the logical move is to move on from Shelton, move on from even Cherington. Like, I don't want to see Cherington get to this trade deadline, let alone the draft. He's going to draft another high schooler that won't be in the majors for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, another light hitting.
The Pirates, another shortstop. But the Pirates they don't work logically. They don't see the writing on the wall. We've said it multiple times. They think they're smarter than everybody, and just face the music. You're not. You're not smarter than everybody else.
Yeah, you're 100% accurate. Like, the Pirates don't do the logical move, and when they do the right decision, or they finally make the right decision, it's usually like 2 weeks later, or a month later, or a year later. Like, it takes them forever to make the right move. And at the end of the day, yeah, they all should be gone. I mean, I wanted them gone last year. Everybody from the top all the way down to the ushers. The ushers are now fighting people in the stands, Cody, or in the concourse.
Hey, free my guy. Free my guy. He was doing the right thing. That was vigilante justice.
I'm good with just cleaning house right across the board. But for some reason, the Pirates never do that logical move. And I just have a feeling that the reason that they stuck with them this long, even after last season, is nutting, Cherington has snookered Nuttington into believing that they're close because, hey, we have Paul Skeens. we're close. We have the greatest pitcher in the world, and we're right on the cusp of winning. And unfortunately, Bob Nutting doesn't really know any better with baseball.
Right.
So, are they going to go and make this move now? I just I hope so, but I think it's just a lot of people, wishing on it and hopeful, and but we'll see. But they just don't. They never make the right move. So
they don't. And I mean, it started this offseason, right? I mean, we don't have to get into it. It's just that it's so much that it seems like hindsight, and I guess it is. But at the same time, it's like you saw these moves happen in real time, and you're like, what's going on? Like, why are we trading for Spencer Horwitz? Why are we picking up Tommy Pham? Why are we reacquiring Adam Frazier? Why aren't we going for the bigger names that we could have gotten decent contracts for? It just didn't make sense. But let's get back on track. Let's talk about the game that transpired today that basically ended in what, the third inning when they scored their first 2 runs?
Yep.
Yeah.
So they so Mitch Keller gets the start.
Right.
Look, Mitch, he was fine today. Was he the Mitch we've seen where he's at his ceiling? No. Was he awful? No. He 8 innings. He gave you 6 strong innings. They brought him out for a
quality start, Ryan. It was a quality start. Any other team in MLB would take this.
He's the master of the quality start, which is, that's a 4.5 ERA, which is pretty much right where he's at for the season. But dude, like he just, he got killed. The speed killed him today on the base pass. Victor Scott.
Yeah.
Who was the other one? Oh yeah, Mason Wynn. Like they were just running all over the base pass. And look, they didn't, they scratched a couple runs across because of the speed. 2-0, then it was 3-0 after 5. And you just, that's unfortunately, that's it for this team. And it's just, we've talked about it with Skeens and some of the other pitchers that, they're not pitching poorly, but it's just not good enough to win on this team. I don't know what it feels like to have that pressure to feel like you're pitching and you can't give up any runs. And that's where this team's at right now with this offense. So, like I said, Mitch, they brought him out for a 7th. He gave up a single. They took him out, but 6 innings, 3 runs. He had 6 strikeouts. He walked 3. He just, he was Mitch Keller from what we've come to know of him. And I think at this point, we want to see more consistency from Mitch. We really haven't seen much of it at all, besides him just eating innings and going deeper into games. But it was just a typical Mitch Keller start. Yeah.
And like, you really can't ask for much more of Mitch Keller, right? This is kind of who we expect him to be for this team, is like the middle of the rotation starter who's going to give up a couple runs, but give you a chance to win. He gave them a chance to win today, Ryan. They just didn't capitalize.
That's the recipe for every game. That's the script. The starting pitching does enough to keep you in the game, and the hitting does nothing, and the Pirates lose. Like that's what it's been.
And the biggest thing I noticed, it became apparent, or not apparent, that's the wrong word, but I noticed it most in the Mason Wynn at bat, in the double that he got there in the third. That was a ball way out of the zone, but he found a way to make contact on it, and that's just something the Pirates offense isn't able to do. They're not able to get contact on bad pitches. And even when they get a perfect pitch, they just don't swing.
Right. Yeah, like I said, the Cardinals did Cardinal things. Like, Lars Nootbaar, 3 hits. Like, it's just they find a way to get guys on, to manufacture runs, and the Pirates don't. And look at the 8th inning when Shelton pulls Ferguson, brings in, for the matchup, which was the right matchup call, brings in Holderman against Jordan Walker, Jordan Walker's hitting like a Pirates hitter at this point.
Right.
Like he's got like a 500 OPS. That is a Pirate hitter at this point. Holderman gets ahead of him, doesn't get a call on the corner. What happens? Fastball, the single right up the middle, seeing eyeball, two run score, Jordan Walker. Like that's the epitome of a Pirates game at this point. Everything just goes against them, even when they play the right matchup. Of course it's Holderman, go figure. But he can't get that final striker out. And Jordan Walker, who's struggling, adds 2 more insurance runs on. that the Cardinals did not need at all. It was insult to injury at that point.
That Jordan Walker at bat with Holderman, it felt like that's vintage Colin Holderman, right? You feel good about it. You're like, he's about to get the strikeout. He's about to get out of the inning. And then just the batter just finds the ball and squirts it past the infield or hits it to a hole. That's vintage right. Holderman at this point. And it's unfortunate that that's what happens. Because he, like you said, it was the matchup you wanted. It was the matchup that made sense. They made the right call of putting Holderman in there, and it's just bad luck, I guess. I mean, bad luck, bad players. Who knows? It's everything at this point.
This offseason, everybody was, it was the Pirates were up and coming because of Skeens and Jones and the Bubba Chandler's coming. Like, it's the rotation. And everybody was, Pirates are going to be around 500. Everyone was taking 80 win total, 85, 84, 80. No way they don't win more than 76, with Skeens for a full season. And they're definitely going to finish ahead of the Cardinals because the Cardinals are retooling, or they're, not rebuilding, but they're not really going for it.
Right.
And here we are in, May 7th, Cody, and the Cardinals are way ahead of you in the standings. They just swept you. The Cardinals aren't a good team, but they're smarter than you. Like they do the fundamentals. They do the little things that the Pirates just always seem to never do. And this game was just more the same of that.
Yeah, I really wonder sometimes, like, what is Derek Shelton's managerial style? Like, what is he doing to make sure these guys stay focused and remember how to play baseball sometimes? Not that they had a bad defensive day today. The defense was fine today. There was no huge mistakes. But like, just the theme of the season is there's been errors that just make no sense, right? So it's like, what is Derek Shelton doing to keep this team on track? And I don't see it. I don't see what it is because you don't see the results on the field. There's no accountability. That's something I talked with Donardo the other night. It was like, I feel like Derek Shelton's scared to try and get accountability out of these guys because he knows he's gonna, if he pulls O'Neal Cruz from center field for making an error, who's he got to put out there? Canario? It's like, you're living in your fears by not doing anything, and it's just a disaster.
Living in your fears, isn't that the Tomlin line?
Yeah, they're starting to look like the Steelers, right?
They are. The Steelers are starting to look like them.
Vice versa. Who knows at this point?
But you're right. It's like, okay, what does a manager do and all that? Like, look, guys, coaches and managers. Like, look, we talked a lot about Andy Haynes and Matt Haig coming in this year. What has Matt Haig done to make these guys better? I haven't seen one article written to say like, changes that Haig's working on or working with hitters. And, they brought in guys like Canario and Valdez and, that have potential, but they just are struggling to hit the ball. And have they been working with these guys? All I know is that when you go down this order, you go down the lineup, even the starting, even the rotation, like what player besides O'Neal Cruz is performing at his max level? That's really it. Like Cruz, even Skeens hasn't been the sharpest Skeens that we've come to know. So it's like, who's really at their max? Like Mitch Keller, we used to go into these, last year and the year before, where Mitch Keller would have like, a handful of really, really good starts, like 6 shutout, 7 shutout innings. And you'd be like, he's breaking out. Like, this is Mitch Keller. And then he'd regress and kind of end up in that 4 ERA pitcher. This year, he's just kind of been the same, like all year. Like, he hasn't been that. I think, at this point we know, what Mitch Keller is, but he's just been that. And it's like, who's at their potential at this point? Because this lineup, I mean, you go 600, it's like 600 OPSs. And then, 300, 400, like Tommy Pham's at 480. I mean, Adam Frazier, it's brutal.
And it's even like if you did have a healthy lineup, right? Even if Spencer Horwitz was healthy, if Nick Gonzalez never broke his ankle on that home run in Miami, you had maybe 3 more wins, like barely. Like, you're still in a terrible spot.
Yeah.
Even if the pitching is healthy, like, there just wasn't enough done for this team to succeed.
Nope. And that's the thing. Look, I talked about this in the last post game I was on. Bubba Chandler is probably going to be up soon. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's going to change anything. Like it's
No.
going to be it's going to be the same story. If Bubba goes out there and gives you 6 innings, 1 run, great. Are we gonna be up 2-1? I'm not confident in that. So it's just going to be more of the same. And yes,
Yeah.
Horowitz, Gonzalez, obviously you're hoping those guys will help, and they should, because they're better hitters that they've shown over their short careers than the guys we're trotting out there. So they should help you, but how much of an upgrade is that really going to give you? And it's just
Not much.
I don't I don't see a path for this team to like it. It's cooked. This season's cooked, and if you're either going to roll with Sherrington moving forward and Shelton, or you're going to get rid of one of them or both of them and rehaul them in the offseason. I don't. But I mean, this season, there's nothing really you can do with this lineup.
Yeah. And I mean, so they faced Sonny Gray today. Sonny Gray is
Like,
basically
the game.
Yeah, sorry. Someone's got to
ahead.
keep us on track, right? But so you face Sonny Gray today, right? He's basically what Mitch Keller's been so far this year. But every time he's faced the Pirates, this is the second time he's faced the Pirates, he's an all-star. Last game, he only gave up 1 run. Today, he shuts him out. He went from, before the game started, he had a 4.12 ERA and a 1.20 WHIP. After this game, he went to a 3.50 ERA and a 1.08 WHIP. Like, all he has to do is face the Pirates, and he just becomes a better player overall. Like,
Of course,
if he could just face the Pirates every time out, every time we play a series against the Cardinals, if he's in there before, I don't know how many more times we play the Cardinals before the All-Star game, but he's an All-Star if he plays them like 2 more times in that span. I don't know what the schedule looks like, but that's just what it looks like right now. And and a guy like Sonny Gray, he's not bad, he's good. Like, he's been good throughout his career. But a guy who's, kind of on the side of slipping, not being so great. And you can't get a hit off of him. Like, other teams are getting at least 3 runs off of him. And you can barely muster 3 hits off of him.
not the Pirates.
Right.
Yeah, he was efficient today. 89 pitches, 7 innings, 7 shutout innings, 1 walk, two hits. That was it. 8 strikeouts. But that's, I mean, this lineup, like there was nothing today, and it's just more of the same. Guys are rolling over on pitches, ground ball out, striking out, lazy fly balls. There's nothing there. He finally came out of the game. The Pirates had their I guess biggest threat in the 8th inning there. Pham singles, Cruz hits a blister into the outfield. You got runners at first and third, 1 out. Reynolds strikes out and Kutch grounds out. And it's just, that was it. That was your threat. And that was after Gray came out of the game. So, yeah, like you mentioned, Gray's just it might have been the ghost of Lance Lynn up there. The Pirates weren't hitting him. I mean, it's just, you put a Cardinals pitcher on the mound. It doesn't matter what their name says. They're gonna shut the Pirates down.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing I noticed, and like, I don't know how in-game scouting is. I don't know if these guys are talking to each other, but 4 of Sonny Gray's 8 strikeouts came on the sweeper, and each one of them, the Pirates went down swinging, and they were chasing. And it's like, are we not talking to each other and being like, hey, when you get into this count, he's probably going to throw the sweeper to get you to chase. Don't fall for it. Because every time, like, I felt like I could predict it. I was like, he's going to throw the sweeper here. And then he throws a sweeper and they swing and miss. And I'm like, is nobody talking to each other? Is Matt Haig asleep at the wheel? Is he not being like, hey, watch out for the sweeper? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's like, what are our coaches doing? We haven't heard very much about what they're trying with these guys and stuff. And yeah, Peguero, you mentioned the sweeper. Peguero swung at that one sweeper. I think he started swinging before that ball was even out of Gray's hand.
He was expecting a fastball, and was like, buddy, it ain't coming.
Yeah, he wasn't. There was no way he was touching that pitch.
Yeah, that was one of the bigger things I noticed from the matchup with Sonny Gray today was the swing and miss on the sweeper. And the fact that they were all sweepers. All the swing and miss strikeouts were sweepers. And it's like, you got to expect it. Like, it was one of his best pitches today. You got to expect it.
They say hitting's contagious, and not hitting and just kind of going through the motions is contagious too, Cody. I mean, that's
Apparently.
what it kind of looks like out here. Yeah. So Bart goes 0 for 3. Valdez 0 for 4. He's been bad. Like hurry back, Horowitz. Frazier 0 for 3. Peguero finally gets a start 0 for 3. Didn't strike out.
He was the second.
He struck out once. He struck out on that sweeper.
Right.
And then Reynolds again 0 for 4. He had a couple games that looked like he was coming out of it, and he's just kind of back to more of the same. And
fell back.
It really sucks because besides Cruz, Reynolds, and Kutch and Bart, that's kind of like your big hitters. Like, that's it. And when they're not coming through, it's bad. It's going to be bad. So let me go through this, Cody. This is the last, I don't know, handful of games. I went back to like the Angels series. Here are the runs scored by the Pirates: 0, 1, 3, 0, 1, 4, 3, 4, 0, 2, 4, 3, 3, 3. I mean, there's not a number above a 4 in there, and a lot of them are 1 and 2 and zeros. It is so lifeless right now. It is bad.
Yeah, I don't.
And the people want sandwiches, Cody, and we can't give them out. We're on like we're having a famine out here. Like we need.
I keep holding on to these sandwiches. I want to let them go. I want to let them out in the wild.
Permanny's pulled a fast one on us. That's for sure.
I know, right? I think it was Doug last night that was like, "We're not going to give out a free sandwich until the tailgate on the 24th."
Right, because they're catering it. Yeah, because this is the Pirates certainly aren't helping us. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, besides this game, we mentioned Sonny Gray, Mitch Keller performance, the bullpen. Baracchi had a scoreless inning. He once Keller gave up that first hit in the 7th, Baracchi came in and got out of that inning. And then Ferguson was in, gave up, he gets tagged with those 2 runs that Holderman inherited and gave up against Walker. But yeah, that was it. And I mean, it's just, I hate coming on here and saying the same stuff, Cody, because that's what every game is. It's a lifeless offensive team.
I was thinking about it, Ryan. I was like, how do we do this post game without saying it's the same thing every game? How do we keep this new, fresh, and entertaining? And this team makes it hard, right?
They make it really hard. So I wanted to read, I don't know if you saw this. Our old friend Travis Sawchek tweeted this out kind of during the game. And he made a great point, and I wanted to read it on here. So Travis Sawchek tweeted, said, it would be insane to say landing the 1-1 pick and picking Paul Skeens would be a bad outcome for any club. But being awarded such a lottery ticket does expose the club if it's not willing to be serious. Expectations are raised. If inaction follows, coupled with a lot of losses, animosity increases. I mean, that's it right there. That, everybody, we've seen this fan base just kind of, they've had enough this year. Like, people they're saying this is unwatchable, it's hopeless, and people aren't going to games anymore. They're done with them. And this is why, like, you think, hey, you have Paul Skeens. How's this possible? And this is it. Like, this put the Pirates in the spotlight, and they just went into the offseason and did the same old status quo that they always do. And they're getting buried for it right now. And it's justified. I mean, it's just, you didn't do enough to build a ball club around Paul Skeens, and there it is. So I thought that was perfect from Travis.
No, it is. It's poetic. It's like you're being exposed. You got a lottery ticket. You have the core to be great, and your skill set is being exposed. You are not able to pick up the players that you need in the offseason. I don't know what it is. I hear from all kinds of outlets. Like, I think the one specifically that pops up in my mind is Foul Territory. Pardon me, I forget the guy's name, but he was just like, players want to go to Pittsburgh. They love Pittsburgh. They love the city. They want to play at PNC Park every day. Like, it's a destination that players want to go to. They're just not offered fair compensation, or they're given these terrible contracts where it's just 1 year and then what? Like, players don't want to go to a place for 1 year Like they want stability. And my biggest thing that I always bring up in my head is like, why are we not offering options? Like, yeah, options can get hairy, but a lot of these contracts this past offseason, they included options. They included player options and team options and all
Right.
kinds of options. Why is there no creativity in the contracts? And I think that's just their biggest detriment, is that they are too scared to get creative. They're too scared to take a step, to take a chance on a guy where you could give a guy 2 years, that second year is a player option. If he plays well and the team does well, he's probably more likely to come back for that second year, right? But if he plays well and the rest of the team is bad, yeah, you're going to lose him on that second year.
Well, right. But that's the thing.
You want to give the guy the option. Like, these players want to have options. And when you're not in a position to be like, nope, it's our way or the highway, you got to give out these options.
I never understood it either, because if the player performs well, which is what you want, okay, he opts out. Well, then the Pirates don't have to worry about paying him a second and third year or whatever the contract was.
Right.
So they're so anti giving these long-term deals out, which I get to a point. Like, you don't want to give a Miguel Cabrera a 10-year contract out or whatever, but if you do a 4-year deal, but it has a player opt out, who cares? If he does well and you have a good season, he opts out, then he opts out. Like, you're not on the hook for that money. And if he doesn't, then you got him for another year or so. So, like,
and I think that's what they're scared of.
That either.
I think they're scared of being on the hook for that option year, because they're like, well, I'd rather him leave so we don't have to pay him anymore. You know, like, that's what it feels like, at least. Like, that's the impression that I get, that they're scared that player is going to come back for a third year. And it's like, even if he does, trade him. Get rid of the contract and trade him for prospects if you really don't want him.
Yeah, it's just, like you said, guys, I mean, who wouldn't want to come and play with Skeens, like, going into last year, where you're like, hey, we have this guy Skeens. He started the All-Star game. Like, come to Pittsburgh. We got a young team. We're putting it together. But they give you nothing to even try to build that off of. Like, just what they've done in this offseason, people know it. And then look what they were doing to Rowdy and stuff last year, where they're benching guys with them 2 at-bats away from getting an incentive. It's just when stuff like that's going around, and it gets amplified every time it happens. Like, they're not the only team that does that, but it gets amplified because they do it like in the stupidest and worst ways ever. And just, people call them on it, which they should. And that creates a negative atmosphere, and people aren't going to want to come, but something's got to get, like, they're not going to spend. So, like you said, get creative on some of these contracts and options. And, but I don't know, man. I think it's bad. I mean, this season's done, and it's just, I don't know where they go from here. And again, we'll see if Shelton gets fired. I don't know if Nutting's going to allow them to make that move. And I don't know. I don't know if Sherrington has somehow behind closed doors, like, hitched himself completely with Shelton, so he knows he can't fire Shelton or he's done. But
it seemed like
he should have been gone last year. I mean, it
seems like it seems like that's what happened with this past offseason, right? Because everybody expected Shelton to get fired,
right?
And whenever they didn't, and the quote was, "We have to be held accountable together," that's when you hitched your wagon to him. Now, if he goes, you're gone. So that like, to me, that's why Shelton's not going to leave, right? They're not going to fire him, because if Sherrington fires Shelton, that means he's basically firing himself because of the accountability there. He hitched his wagon to Derek Shelton.
Yeah,
like, that's all.
And these injuries that we've had, like, injuries suck. They're going to happen. But I really wish, like, Jared Jones, Horowitz, Nicholson, I wish they wouldn't have happened, because Sherrington can now point to those injuries and
make excuses.
Nutting will eat it up and be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, if we had these guys, Bob, we would have been right in the thick of things. Like, look at this. So he can point to that and make excuses, and, Bob will probably eat it up for 2 more years. Who knows?
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I don't even know what else to say. I think we said it all.
It's the end of the show when we're like, we just do a big sigh of relief. Like, oh, yeah, okay.
We got to that 30-minute mark. We're about done.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. Hey, they got the off day tomorrow. Maybe they can all reset.
Yeah, and who knows what will happen tomorrow, right? I mean, Are they back at home this weekend or no?
Yeah, they come home for a quick series against the Braves at home, and then they go back. They go to your stomping grounds over there in New York, and then they play the
Yep.
Phillies. So
Yep.
the
I
schedule's
will.
brutal coming up.
I'm trying to go on Monday. We'll see what happens,
All right.
but who knows? I don't know. Maybe the speculation will come to be true, and Bubba Chandler will be called up this weekend. I
I don't know.
I doubt it
He
at this
struggled
point.
today in his start, so
He had a bad start
we
today.
probably won't see him for another month now.
Right. That's going to set him back. That's going to set him back a year. One bad start. Oh, no. Look at Paul
Right.
Skeens. And Paul Skeens doesn't even have a bad starts, and everybody's complaining about him.
I
Anyway.
know. People are complaining about Cruz in our comments. I mean, it's just
I know.
guys, Cruz is the only one that was hitting.
Listen, last year I was the biggest critic of O'Neal Cruz because I knew what he could be. You see it, you see the talent, and you're like, come on, get there. Like, you can do it.
Right.
He's finally showing it. He's finally emerging as this star. And you still got people saying, well, he's striking out too many times. It's like, if you compare the numbers from this year to last year, he's down, like, I think more than 10% on his strikeouts. Like, he's striking out, I think, 25% of the time this year. Last year was like 35% of the time. And he's getting more walks, and he's stealing bases. He's hitting the ball hard. His OPS, I think, is over 800, 900.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? What do you want from the guy?
He's not the guy to complain about right now.
Right. Like, what else do you want from this guy? He's not the problem. He's not the problem.
Yep. He's on pace for like a 40-60 season, let alone 40-40 or 30-30. So, right. Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
That infuriates me almost as much as Neil defending Derek Shelton.
Right.
But anyway, we're not going to get into that. Let's get out of here.
There we go. How about if Shelton gets fired, you'll go to the game Monday? How about that?
There we go. I'll probably
we'll hold you to it.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for joining us. Sorry, no free sandwiches today, but tomorrow night, tomorrow night we will have NS9 live. Don't think we have any guests lined up. We might have one of our friends from the beat hop in for 15 minutes. Who knows? We always try to do that, but it doesn't always work. But the guys will be on, Jim, Tyler, and Donardo, 9:00 tomorrow night. We got the tailgate coming up May 24th. It's always a fun time. We'll have free Permane Brothers sandwiches. It's my favorite day of the year. Like, I remember whenever we planned the date and then I found out I couldn't get those days off at first from work, and I was distraught. I was in the group chat like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm so upset, but I will be there. Ryan will be there. Donardo will be there. Jim will be there. Tyler will be there. I believe Doug will be there. I think the only one we're missing is Neil. Neil had a prior obligation, unfortunately. But hey, that means Paul isn't going to kill him. So
there you go. There you go. No, but it's a really good time to come out. Like I said, we had a good turnout last year, the Permane sandwiches and everything. And Jim had the NS9 flag underneath that the overpass there.
I have it right now. It's in my new office. It's over here somewhere. I thought about putting it in the background, but I thought it might look like something else.
Yeah, Cody's got a new spot there. He just moved, so send Cody some suggestions of what he can put in his background.
Yeah, I need some suggestions. I got ideas, but always open to suggestions. All right, folks. I think that's all the stuff we gotta let you know about. Oh, always got to plug, become a member on YouTube. It's 99 cents. You get the cool emojis in the chat. If you want to support us even more, you can give us, I believe it's $4.99 on Patreon. And that'll put you in our giveaways. And other stuff. There's other stuff we do with that as well. I think that's all I have to plug.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks again. Like I said, this has been therapy every game, because 7 losses in a row. I don't know. We're so far away from smelling sandwiches, and it's tough. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks, like, subscribe, everything you guys do. Appreciate it always. And yeah, that's all I got.
I haven't smelled a sandwich in 7 days, Ryan.
It's been so long. Oh my goodness.
All right. We'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.
Peace.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucs.